Welcome to the third video in our proof of concept campaign for Core. In this video, we discuss Core's jungle and map objectives. Entering the jungle and moving between lanes is designed to give players more gameplay options. Core's jungle features 2 access points around each tower, along with elevated access paths above each tower and around the 2 major map objectives. The jungle has one central pathway, called the river, that splits the map in half horizontally. It provides players with a more neutral path when moving across the map. Basically, the jungle is designed to promote creative playmaking by giving players more options when in the jungle. While the jungles are mirror images of each other at the very moment, we do plan to design the off-lane jungle to be different from the dual-lane jungles in the future. As the main late-game map objective is on the off-lane side of the map, our intent is to make the off-lane jungle more open and spacious in order to give more space for massive late-game teamfights. We're exploring different ways through which the jungle can be made more dynamic and engaging for players. While we won't know for sure what the final features will be, let's go over what's on the slate for evaluation. One of the main features of the jungle are the jungle minions and their camps. We will be testing 15 different jungle minions that will make up 10 unique jungle camps, with each unit having their own special abilities and mechanics. As a jungler, you'll need to make decisions when planning farming rotations, as each jungle camp will also be weak or strong against specific damage types. Essentially, there are 3 damage type groups: energy, physical, and neutral camps. Each jungle will have 1 energy, 1 physical, and 2 neutral spawn locations where camps of the appropriate kind will randomly spawn. This means that junglers will rely on a camp having a weakness and resistance to damage types, while at the same time adapting to randomized gameplay mechanics as minions spawn. One example of potential minions is a camp with 2 small and elusive melee creatures that can jump over heroes to reposition and dodge attacks, along with 2 ranged creatures that lob projectiles which can be dodged. Another camp we're testing has 2 melee units that attack and build up an ability that explodes when fully charged. These units will also give shields to another lethal ranged unit in the same camp while they're still alive. This means players will have to decide between bursting down either the more lethal unit or the units giving shields, depending on their hero's strengths and the situation in hand. Jungling in Core will not entirely be an exclusive opportunity though, as a special mechanic will allow any player a chance to benefit from jungle minions. Jungle camps will spawn every 2 minutes. Players will have an opportunity to pull minions away from their spawn location to allow another jungle camp to spawn and stack. This mechanic can stack up to 2 camps in the same location and provide the player who did the stacking with an economy bonus when the camp is killed. Potentially, the more your team can set up this jungle stacking, the more you and your jungler can get ahead, as long as you don't forget about your lanes. Another key jungle objective are the jungle guardians. These 2 units are bigger, stronger, healthier, and more rewarding. Jungle guardians spawn every 4 minutes, even if there are other jungle minions in their camp, and will drop special hero buffs. The Zetchin Guardian grants movement speed and health regen only when in the jungle, while the Arcane Guardian spawns mana shards for the player to collect for mana and cooldown reduction. These 2 Guardian buffs, along with the jungle camps being weak to different damage types, shows our intent to have both basic attack heroes and ability-based heroes viable in the jungler role. This adds dynamic versatility to the match and to the draft lobby. Junglers and other heroes also have access to ember collectors in each quarter section of the jungle. These collectors give the controlling team a steady source of income, plus a small bonus whenever activated or claimed for a player and their team. Players will stand on the Ember Collector's activation pad and channel the activation process until the collector is claimed or activated for their team. This grants the player and the rest of their team a small economy bonus. Players may also empower this bonus through a charging mechanic, where players will have to aim and activate various targets as they appear in random locations on the Ember Collector's charging face. Therefore, through mechanical skill and aim, players will be able to acquire and empower small economical advantages over the course of a match. One of the most important objectives found within the jungle of Core are beings of great power, called remnants. These remnants are 4 different units that randomly spawn, one at a time, starting in the early mid-game. The team that kills them gains a small but permanent buff. These buffs range from small movement speed increases, small health regeneration increases when struck in combat, gaining a damage over time effect when damaging enemy heroes, to buffing nearby allied minions' health and damage. These permanent buffs can stack when multiple remnants of the same type are killed during a match. However, due to their random spawning, the remnants will make each match of Core a unique individual experience. Remnants are also very deadly and have unique abilities and combat mechanics that require multiple members of a team to coordinate a takedown. With only one way out but 3 ways in, teams will need to approach these objectives with caution, as fighting in the Remnant Pit will be high risk but also high reward. Of course, there is one objective in the jungle even more important than the remnants, and that's the Prime Guardian. Prime Guardian holds the ultimate power. Securing this power for your team can mean the difference between victory and defeat. It is a deadly objective that will require most members of your team to take down. There are 2 to 3 stages of the buffs that can come from killing the Prime Guardian. When eliminated, Prime Guardian first grants the Favor of the Asher buff to the team that killed it. This allows the team to recall to and regenerate a base faster, while also buffing allied minions' health and damage that are nearby team members. It is ideal for pushing into enemy towers more quickly and gaining a siege advantage. Secondly, Prime Guardian drops something called Orb Prime upon death. Whoever picks up the orb will receive the Paragon of Agora buff. This individual gets increased health and mana regeneration alongside greatly increased damage output. Finally, the Paragon of Agora buff can be channeled into the Altar of the Remnants, which is found within the Remnant Pit. This removes the Paragon of Agora buff and instead activates the Fury of the Asher buff for all teammates. Fury of the Asher doubles the effectiveness of any remnant buffs that they have accumulated over the match and gives every member of the team a small damage increase for a short time. This gives a choice to players between empowering one hero immensely or boosting every member on the team in smaller, more indirect ways. To recap, killing Prime Guardian grants a team-wide buff, and once you're carrying the Orb Prime, you can dunk its power in the Remnant Pit to share it with the rest of your team in a more different way. The choice is ultimately yours, as planning and executing various strategies involving the Remnants and Prime Guardian will be very important in securing victory in Core. We've made sure to design the jungle as not only a creative and dynamic space, but also as an evocative and emotional experience as well. The art style is intended to feel very much like an actual jungle that is ancient and mysterious. Vast vegetation lines the walls and forms a canopy over ruins, statues, and flowing water. Elevation in the jungle can take you into advantageous positions over towers and the remnant and prime guardian pits, while also letting you ambush unsuspecting enemies that are securing their ember collectors. The size of jungle paths are meant to confine players into more vulnerable positions to provide different gameplay from the rest of the map. The jungle does, however, open up around guardian camps and ember collectors to allow teams to have more space to fight around these key objectives. This concludes the jungle and map objectives reveal and overview video for Core. We hope you enjoyed and are looking forward to learning more about the game. We will see you in 2 days.